Good Sunday evening, everyone. Severe Weather Team 9 meteorologist Nathan Chudd with your weather update as we break down what to look for this upcoming week. And spoiler, it's gorgeous. Unseasonably warm temperatures and mostly dry conditions. That's going to be the story of this week, and even abundant sunshine early on. So if you like today, you're going to love the next couple of days as it's similar. The big difference is it's just warmer. Yes, even warmer with respect to today going throughout the majority of this week. And again, during that, we're still looking at mostly dry conditions. There's a couple days that we'll map out. We're dealing with that threat for some precipitation. So without further ado, thanks for tuning in. Let's jump into the forecast. And this was the story of the day, wasn't it? Blue skies, sunshine, time lapse overlooking the city of Steubenville, just showing some gorgeous conditions. Just a few passing clouds that we had in place going throughout this afternoon. But overall, it was beautiful weather. And what a great day to start with our daylight saving time. Beautiful evening to enjoy that later sunset. The sun has now set, but it did set at 7:23 p.m. and just 1 week, the sun will set at 7:30 on March 16th. In 1 month, it's going to be closer to 8 o'clock. And in a matter of 2 months, it's going to be even closer towards 8:30 that we see that sunset. Our temperatures today topping off into the 50s and even well in the 50s. Now these temperatures are going to drop off rather quickly tonight. And we're going to fall not only through the 50s, 40s, but even back into the 30s. It's going to be a cold start to tomorrow. We'll have those wind speeds around 5-10 miles per hour, so wind chills will be a factor. It's going to feel like it's in the 20s. Again, it's going to be a cold start to tomorrow before we get back to more unseasonably warm temperatures in the afternoon. And temperatures are, again, dropping off quickly with little to no cloud cover in place overnight. And then obviously not going to track any precipitation with barely a cloud in sight overnight. Just going to be a cold start with those lows closer to freezing. Again, wind chills in the 20s with winds around 5-10 miles per hour overnight. Then into tomorrow afternoon, our temperature is likely topping off just into the 60s into Monday afternoon. And from there, we'll see temperatures even likely climb well in the 60s by Tuesday afternoon. I think we can have a few more clouds in the mix Tuesday, but dry conditions hold and still plenty of sunshine likely into Tuesday. Tuesday night into Wednesday is when we'll notice more clouds spill into the area. And at this point, we're going to be back to more of a mix of sun and clouds likely for the remainder of this week. And as clouds spill into the area, rain chances are going to start to pick up a little bit as well going into Thursday. But I think the real rain threat for this week will likely hold off more so this weekend. I think that it's going to be fairly dry going throughout the work week. And by this weekend is when we'll have the best chance for rain here throughout this week. That's when showers are going to be likely. Saturday. Now, Sunday, I could see more of the morning. So while, yes, we're likely dealing with rain, I don't think it's the entirety of Sunday. While Saturday, it can be. So, be prepared for more of a washout, I think, Saturday. And then we can see the latter part of Sunday end up being dry, but we will still likely start off with those showers into the morning. By Thursday, it's more of a questionable scenario. I do think it's possible that we see some showers and even a thunderstorm develop in the afternoon. And I do think we can have some thunderstorms in the mix on Saturday as well. But I do think what we see Thursday is going to be more hit or miss and could very well stay dry. But it is looking more likely to deal with that rain for this weekend. Renee says, good evening. Glad the weather was great. It was great, wasn't it? It was some gorgeous weather here really for this weekend. It was just a beautiful weekend overall. And again, a lot of what we saw this weekend carries over into early next week. Drew says, hello. Hello to you, Drew. How are you doing? Well, I hope you are as well. What a great weather day. I know it was, wasn't it? Went out to play bingo earlier this afternoon, and it was nice and warm in the sun. It was. And again, what we saw today, just a preview of what we're going to see this week with even warmer temperatures coming our way. Drew said, I had a question. Why is Wednesday's weather going to drop off by 10 degrees compared to Tuesday and Thursday's forecast? Yeah, we see a little bit of a cool down going into Wednesday. We'll see more cloud cover spill into the area that can curb how much we warm into the afternoon. And then once we get out ahead of that system, we're going to see some warmer air being pulled into the region. So the temperatures are going to start to ramp back up going into the weekend. So that cloud cover can trend us a bit cooler going into Wednesday. And then by the time we get into Thursday, again, with a weak system moving in, it can bump temperatures up a bit, but I don't think we'll see much precipitation from it into Thursday. And certainly out ahead of that system this weekend, temperatures are really picking up Friday out ahead of it. So that the cloud cover can keep us a bit cooler going into Wednesday, Drew. It says, by the way, how's the drought situation this week, Drew? It's actually over. So I don't think I touched it on our weather updates. I did post about it, I believe, last week. That we actually have. It was this latest drought monitor actually not changing from the previous week. That here for a couple weeks now, we've actually been out of drought conditions in our area. Still abnormally dry, but no longer dealing with drought conditions in the region. So that's pretty big news to finally see, which we've dealt with since last July. It was right at the beginning of July. We had dry conditions before that, but in terms of the drought actually developing and seeing drought conditions in our area, it was first early July, and we didn't look back. Up until what we had, it was the very end of February is when drought conditions were finally dropped in our area. But from early July going all the way through February of this year, we had at least dealing with some drought conditions in the area. So it was certainly historic in terms of that stretch. Of course, historically dry going through last summer. But finally saw this come to an end, thankfully. Thank goodness. Yes, I know, Drew. Finally, right? Thank goodness the drought is over. Couldn't agree more. Yes, thankfully. And Shelley is joining us from Dover, saying hi. Hello there, Shelley. Thanks for tuning in on to this evening. So if you're just joining in, we were talking about the precipitation threat, which again stays low going through much of this week. Maybe sneaking in some showers, a thunderstorm Thursday. I think it's going to be much more hit or miss. It's possible, but it's no guarantees. And I think it's doubtful. I think we will stay dry Friday, but this system this weekend is going to provide the best chance for rain that we're going to deal with likely going throughout this week. That's where you can, it's more of that guaranteed to see rain, I think, going into Saturday. And Sunday looks to be more so in line with the first part of the day. I think we can end up later on Sunday, end up being dry. So that's our precipitation. There's these temperatures. The Drew already touched on this, how we trend a little bit cooler into Wednesday. We a lot of sunshine to help bump those temperatures up Monday, Tuesday, but we see more clouds spill into the area Wednesday, and temperatures can start to trend back closer to 60. But we get out ahead of that system this weekend, and these temperatures are ramping up. Thursday, Friday into Saturday, these temperatures are likely into the 70s, and we're going to see a very warm stretch this time of the year going into the weekend. A far cry from the normal high of 47 degrees. We'll see if we don't near some record highs going into this weekend. I think it's certainly possible going into the weekend. And then we get behind that system Saturday, a cold front passage. Temperatures are dropping Sunday. I could see that high of 60 being more early. I could see temperatures actually cooling throughout the day Sunday. I would watch for that. And then wind up back in the 50s. That Monday of next week could end up being the coldest day. While we do have that initial blast of cooler air moving in behind that system later this weekend and early next week, I will say that while there is an initial blast of cooler air, it doesn't look like it's reinforced. So, we're not seeing anything drastic like what we've seen the past couple of weeks, where we're seeing temperatures drop from 60s to 30s, or in this case, even 70s to 40s. We're getting close into that Monday, but you'll notice that it's not quite as drastic as the last couple of weeks. So we have a shot of cooler air coming our way, I think, into the following week, but it doesn't look like anything as drastic as the last couple of weeks that we have had. Now, this doesn't mean, I know this week, this week is going to scream, spring, and this spring fever is in full effect. And, we still have to keep in mind that we can still have more cold days, and I suspect that we will, looking ahead going into later this month, and even we can have some cold mornings still lingering into April. And it's always best to hold off on especially doing any planning until we even get to Mother's Day. So I know we've got quite some time yet before we can officially count out these cold days, but there are certainly not any coming up here for at least the next 10 days, as this is an unseasonably warm stretch of weather that we have coming up. And Drew says, is there any more chance of snow later this month? I don't think we can count it out, Drew. And normally it's early April. On average, our last snowfall is early April, the last round that we deal with some snow. So I think it is possible. Nothing here over the next 10 days, maybe later this month, we could sneak in at least one more day dealing with some snow. So I wouldn't count it out yet, but certainly there's a hiatus right now, if you will, of any snow in the forecast. Is Saturday's mark of 75 a record for the date? Yeah, I think it's very close. into that. I'd have to look that up specifically, Drew, and get back to you. But I think it's going to be very close to record highs going into this weekend. Lola says, luck of the Irish coming our way with the warmer weather. Yeah, no doubt, right? Yeah, we're lucking out with this. We're loving this. This is nice. Yeah, this is great. That's why, I think it talked about this last week that Mother Nature was kind of cruel for bringing that cool down after a couple nice days, but making up for it this week, huh? Mother Nature says, all right, I'll bring the beautiful weather back for how about a long period of time? Yeah, this is going to be gorgeous this coming weekend. And we get to enjoy this with sunshine to start off the week. Yeah, we'll see more clouds in the mix Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And again, even more clouds than sun likely on Wednesday. That can trend us a bit cooler. But overall, this is just a beautiful stretch of weather. And even Thursday doesn't look overly wet. We can spot some showers, thunderstorms in the area, I think. But I think until we get to the weekend, this is going to be a great stretch of weather throughout this work week. A good, really opportunity, get out, enjoy the outdoors, maybe take a walk, and really for the we've had a handful of days so far, early on into or later on to the season, early this year, however you want to look at it, that we've certainly been able to enjoy the outdoors, but not this long of a stretch. This is going to be a great week to enjoy the outdoors. That's for sure coming our way. And yes, I do think that, they were not quite done shaking off the cold days yet. I think we can have some more in the mix. And yes, we can have some more snow in the mix, but at least here near term, none of the sorts coming our way. Well, thanks so much for tuning in on this Sunday evening. I appreciate it as always. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. And while, yes, the work week now upon us, at least we get to look forward to this weather, right? It's going to make that work. That Monday, it's not going to be maybe as brutal. I know after daylight saving time, maybe so, but at least we get to enjoy the sunshine with it. And we get to see more of it going into Tuesday as well. So it's going to be really a beautiful work week ahead. Thanks so much for tuning in. You can make sure to catch me coming up News 9 at 10 on Fox 9 News 9 tonight at 11. Drew, I'm going to look more into those record highs, and I'll talk about that coming up at 10 and 11. So if you're curious as well, we'll break into that, look into that a little bit more, and we'll see if we can be breaking some records later on this week. So I'll jump into that right after this weather update, Drew, and let you know coming up at 10, 11, at 11. Drew's going to join me at 11. So yeah, I'll let you know then, Drew. We'll look into it. Thanks so much for tuning in. I hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. And again, I hope you have a great night and a great week ahead.